This is Jay Norris with Brewer FX here in Chicago. Today's October 17th, Friday. Happy Friday to you. Before we get rolling, I do want to point out that trading futures and Forex is a risky endeavor and not suitable for all investors. The charts we're going to go over are snapshots of current market conditions and may not necessarily be indicative of future conditions. First market we cover is the Euro US dollar. Eyes on the left here. You can see we have the weekly chart. Short-term trend very definitely down. Lower right here on the daily chart. We did not see any kind of a short covering rally here on Friday, which I thought I could have expected that yesterday. We did not see that, so that really just points to further weakness in the Euro US dollar. I suspect we'll go down there and test last week's low, upper right, the 4-hour chart here. Well, if we get a close below 34 even, that is, I suspect we'll go down and test the low from last week just above 132, and I still think the door is open for a test of 130. Looking at these longer term trends. Next market, the British pound weekly chart on the left here, still down pretty hard. We had an inside week this week. That shows a little bit of indecision, I suppose. Lower right, the daily chart, short-term trend on the daily, I'd have to say neutral. Intermediate term trend, long-term trend, still obviously down on the daily pound. A 4-hour chart upper right, not much help there. Looks like this would be a bear flag here before another leg lower. We'll have to see. The next market, the euro. I'm sorry, the Australian dollar. Australian dollar recovered a little bit, but lower right here you can see on the 4-hour chart, it's still below that trend line. I made a reference yesterday if we could close above that trend line, we'd be able to see, maybe I'll see this market have a run there. It hasn't yet, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Again, the fact that you didn't have some kind of a short covering rally today, Friday, is that's pointing to further market weakness. Japanese yen, weekly chart on the left here. You've got an inside bar on the week. Not much information there. Daily chart lower right here. You see the market still consolidating below the old breakout, up there closer to 104. Almost looks like we were so in a bear flag here. Hard to call that short-term trend anything but neutral, really. Actually, the short-term trend is higher. You still have you have a pattern of higher lows here. Stochastic still pointing lower. I'm sorry, higher. You have a pattern of higher lows. Still pointing up. So short-term trend on the daily lower, but it really looks like we're seeing a bear flag here before a continuation of the down move. Intermediate term trend lower. Primary trend lower as well on the daily dollar yen. Canadian big week. The week before we had an inside week. Today not a lot of information. Daily chart, we can still see the uptrend in place. 240 upper right here. You have a double top in place still with good divergence. I wouldn't, it's hard to take counter trend trades now, especially since you didn't have any kind of correction today. I don't know, maybe it was a little too much anticipated, but hard to buck the trend here. Yeah, I closed above 120 even, clearly a buy signal. A close below this trend line would be a clear counter trend sell signal. Not the markets you want to be taking counter trend signals in of late, though. That's for sure. The last 2 months definitely been trend traders' paradise. The dollar Swiss weekly chart on the left here. Short-term trend higher, intermediate term trend higher. On the weekly, boy, look at that. The weekly chart, you're pretty much getting into, it's even a possibility your primary trend is higher now on the Swissy. But let's keep an eye on that just yet. I know there's a trend line we went over yesterday on the Swissy on the monthly that it's still below that. So, but the short-term trend higher on the weekly there. That's pretty impressive. On the daily, you can see we've got some resistance overhead. Trend still pointing higher hard to buck that. On the 4-hour chart, you've got an ascending triangle. That's a bullish pattern. So I would go with the age-old advice: the trend is your friend on the Swissy, and I'd be looking for a close above those highs to go long, and probably look for dips to initiate shorter term buy long positions. Euro yen. Euro yen made a lower low this week. That's worth something, no? The daily chart here. Looking at the daily, it's a whole lot of nothing. Sideways. Here's another one where I thought we'd have a short covering rally today, a possibility of it, and you didn't. So that's going to tell us that says further weakness to come. Upper right 4-hour chart. My buddy, the euro yen. A whole lot of nothing there too. You had the double bottom in place, good divergence on it, but you couldn't get anything out of it. So, boy, today was a boring day, really. We'll see if that's indicative of what the market's going to give us next week. Market's taking a breather here, it looks like. The pound yen, lower low on the weekly. Pound yen on the daily over here. Again, a whole lot of nothing. Short-term trend. I guess you'd call it higher. You do have higher lows, but you also have lower highs. So neutral, maybe slightly higher on the short-term trend on the daily here, but more important, the intermediate and the long-term trend definitely down for this market. 4-hour chart, pound yen. You've got a higher low here. You can see, but sideways again, a whole lot of nothing. So not a lot happening. It was a wild week overall, but not much happening today at the end of the week. We did not get a short covering rally as I thought we might, so that's probably pointing towards further weakness or at least a slower trade. Thanks for coming by. I'd encourage you to go to brewerfx.com, check out the blog there, see our previous video commentaries, as well as Jim Hyrechek's fundamental stuff. Jim's really good. Jim's got another book coming out too, so that's always worth a read. Someone who's been around like that, has a lot of experience, has a lot to say. It's definitely worth catching up on what his commentary also. So thanks a lot. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week.